the people saying that, okay, you can't use the N-word, can't be the same people who are rapping and saying that N-word or like singing along at the clubs, even if you're black. If you don't like the word, if you don't like the use of N-word, you shouldn't be singing along with it, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what
I don't agree with people saying the N-word regardless, you know?
I'm sorry.
Like, there is a history behind that word, but I have a feeling that these people who are getting, I don't want to say butthurt, but they feel offended when the N-word is being said.
Yeah.
They themselves can't be using that word themselves.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Culture Overload, the realest podcast in the game where real people have real conversations. We're just some 20-year-olds with some student debt and opinions about the world, and that's about it. But if you're new to the podcast, make sure to check out our Instagram, culture.overload. We are trying to make this podcast very interactive with the audience, so we really want to do that through Instagram and have some engagement. Let us know what you think about the episodes and all that. Also, as you notice, we have a new intro. Shout out to our last guest, Ahmed, for that one. That's a banger, eh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A banger. But yeah, welcome back to another episode.
Also, we got a new YouTube channel going. Same name, Culture Overload. You can definitely check out our videos there for if you don't have Spotify or iTunes or whatever you just prefer listening to on YouTube. We have those there. And then we also have video coming soon, maybe. And then we can kind of hope for that as well.
Depends how well we do on these.
Yeah.
If we can get to like 10,000 views or downloads, then we'll put up some video.
We're thinking of hyping you up, making you wait a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
But also, if you are new episodes every Tuesday at 8, tune in. But yeah, we'll get right into this episode for now.
Without further ado, we got our very, very good friend Noor, lifelong friend, basically grew up together. He is a technician. Mechanical technician,
automotive service tech,
yeah, that's say less. Mm-hmm. He is of African American descent. No, I'm playing.
African Canadian, technically.
Yes, he's Somali. Yeah. Give us a little about yourself, man. Tell us the people who you are. People don't know you.
No, it's just, I am an automotive service technician. I work in Cambridge.
How long have you been doing this job for? Like, how long have you been studying?
I've been with the guys that work for now for about a year. It just hit a year. And then I worked previously for another guy for like 6 months. And before that, I worked at Jiffy Lube. I never really worked. I always worked like automotive jobs. I never really.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day.
That was your first job, eh?
Yeah, and ever since that, like, I was always wondering, like, I never had a job where, like, you'd have to get people to cover your shifts or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, forget all the boring stuff about like school and work. Give us your background. Give us some of your roots. What kind of growing up? What kind of neighborhoods did you grow up in? And things you've seen in your childhood and stuff like that.
Because you've been all around the world.
What kind of culture?
Yeah, actually, I've been all
around. Yeah, we heard about that.
These guys have Brit right here now.
Yeah,
100%.
And you also lived in Minnesota for a while.
Yeah,
so
6 months.
You probably can give us
a little. Give us a little life story, bro. We're here to listen.
Give us some interesting facts.
I don't know, man. America was not that bad. Like I don't know. I kind of liked it. I kind of didn't like it. I guess it was because I was living with my aunt. My aunt, they're good people, but it's just different from living in your own home. You know what I mean? Yeah. Make your own rules. But it was good. America was...
How old were you again when you went?
I was 16. What's up?
What kind of differences did you notice in the cultures?
There's a lot. One, Americans are like fucking... Sorry for swearing. Americans are cocky. Like, they're just like... They're stuck up. They don't, like, here in Canada.
Actually.
Yeah, you're walking past people, they'll greet you, they'll smile. America, they don't do that. Everyone minds their own business, yeah. Another big thing was the schools. Their schools are so different. Like, you don't have... Here in, like, high school, you can go out for lunch, all this, all that. You can't do that there. They give you lunch.
What do you mean?
But they have cafeteria. Yeah,
they have a cafeteria. They give you lunch. The food was... due to Michelle Obama, the food was more healthy when I went.
Really?
But now, apparently Trump's giving more options for burgers and all the unhealthy food, which is good, because an apple's not going to fill you for a whole fucking day. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But I don't think they're trying to fill you. I think they're just trying to fill your mind, I guess. Like, they're trying to feed the mind.
Keep you healthy, because all the Americans kind of fat and greasy, because everything's cheap. That was one thing, though. That's what I loved about it. Dude, food was, like, stupid cheap. Like, you go and you get, like, a McDouble's, like, it was, like, $1.29.
Wow.
So, like, $7, buddy. You're full for days. Taco Bell cheap. All the fast food was cheap. You know what I mean? That's all I ate.
Well, that's where their population is. I think it's like more than 50% is overweight.
Yeah, there's a real obesity problem in the U.S.
Yeah, but like the foods, bro. But the thing is, the quality is different. Like I noticed that.
Really?
Yeah, dude. They're all like, I don't know, like all the shit kind of tastes the same. Like even the grocery store, like the grocery stores, for example, like you know how here like Superstore and stuff, there's a section that has like hot foods, like just like Central Fresh Market.
Yeah.
They had that there, but
like already prepped hot food.
Yeah, hot food ready. It was cheap, stupid cheap. Like that's family dinners right there, right? People will go get bear, wings, chicken, whatever.
Yeah.
You get it for hella cheap, but it's all tastes the same. You know what I mean?
Apparently, I heard this thing a while back that it used to be, back in the day, you can tell like a poor family by like how skinny their children were or how fragile. And apparently nowadays it's the opposite. It's like you can tell a broke family by how fat they are because all the unhealthy foods and all this other trash food is actually cheaper than.
That's
like
not
big fact. Yeah, it's a lot harder to be healthier.
But like, dude, I don't know. America was nice though. At the end of the day, I did enjoy it. I went to Chicago there as well. Went through Wisconsin. It was good, but like there was just things I didn't like. One good thing though, what I was really jealous of is you can get your full license by like 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And majority of the school drove. Like it was not like high school where you kind of, but that parking lot was packed. Everyone drove. I was always so jealous of them.
Yeah, that's another thing. But you know, every time someone brings up America, I just think of their drug and crime problems. Did you see any of that, or like
honestly,
or is it neighborhood specific or what?
I lived in a kind of a decent section. It wasn't too ghetto, and it was good. Like, I mean, you see kids steal. You literally see kids stealing like in the hallways. You smell loud, they smoked in the bathroom, which is kind of like ballsy of them, you know what I mean?
Like here,
yeah. So other than that, like when I went to different sections, like when we actually, so I was in a little town called New Hope. So I was in Minnesota, and it's like all their towns. Another thing was their towns are so much smaller. So our school was 3 towns away, but it was a 10-minute drive.
Jeez.
Like, so it's weird. Like for example, like Kitchener-Waterloo would be like a bunch of towns. It's like small towns. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
like subdivisions.
Subdivisions.
So do they count do they count their neighborhoods and subdivisions and towns then over there or something?
I don't know what they call. I don't remember. It's kind of been a while. But for example, I lived in New Hope. My school was Armstrong, and the town between us was Plymouth. So one of my cousins went to like Plymouth Public School, and I went to Armstrong High School or something. I don't know, it was something like that. But another thing I liked was kind of. I wouldn't say the freedom. Like the school was massive. I'm not gonna lie, it was huge. They had pep rallies and stuff. That was another thing. We don't have that here.
What was the diversity like in those schools? Like, was it majority?
There was 2 schools from where I lived. There's 2 schools you could go to. Right, one was Armstrong. The other was Cooper. So Armstrong was the better school, even though the diversity was literally majority blacks, a lot of Mexicans.
Yeah,
and like there was a lot of white people too. Like it was really diverse. But Cooper was more like known as a bad school. Like my aunt didn't want me to go there. Originally they wanted me to go there, but that was known as like crimes in the school, fights every day, kids getting hurt. Like the whole time I was at Armstrong, I didn't see one fight. It was calm. It was good. All the kids were. The one thing I noticed, everyone's an athlete. The biggest thing they have there is athletics. No matter how big, how much you suck, everyone's diehard.
Their high school like fields, like their pep rallies and all this, they're
ridiculous.
Crazy. But yeah, speaking of that, let's segue into a little bit. You know, also another like big issue you hear about in America, and you know it's kind of a worldwide problem, is racism. Have you, as an African American, as a black person, not an I don't know why I use the term African. Yeah, it's not really for every black person. Yeah. I don't realize that. As as
Somali.
As a Somalian, as of black skin color, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you ever in your life actually experienced racism, or had any moments where you actually felt
discriminated against?
Yeah, discriminated against because of your skin color.
I'm gonna explain one thing to you guys. Of all the time I lived here, I've never had racist remarks said to me or like anything around me. But what the thing is, people don't really notice is the way
people act.
Yeah, they act around you. Like it's not like it's before I don't really notice it. Didn't really bother me. It could also, but people also say it's the way you look, the way you present yourself. Like me walking around,
like joggers, the sweater,
Yeah, looking lazy. But people like what you notice is like, for example, you walk in the stores, people don't smile as you walk by them. Like,
Yeah.
people don't even, like, if you need help, you know, typically they walk over, ask if you need help. They don't really do that. You gotta go to them.
Are they like scared? So would you say they seem scared of you or what? What do you think it is? Like,
I feel like they're
what do
just
you
like,
feel?
yeah, I feel like it's like, I'm not gonna say skeptical, but they're just like, okay, like, I guess in their eyes they seem like, hey, this guy doesn't look like a friendly person to approach. You know what I mean? Didn't smile, nothing, and that's bad on my part. Like, I remember before it wasn't as bad. Like when I was younger, didn't have facial hair, but then as I got older, I start to notice it much more. But it's like what I learned is if I make the first move, like I walk in, I smile, I greet people, they'll be so much nicer to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
Compared to when I walk around with like a standard like grind face, like, you know, not smiling, nothing. You know what I mean?
So you wouldn't say it was because of your race? It was because of how you presented yourself?
Yeah,
then?
that's
So there's never been a moment where you actually felt like prejudiced because of your skin color. Yeah, this might be. I want you to dig deep. Maybe think about it. Because, you know,
Like I see that, like I see the part where you're talking about how like even with us, when it's like a group of guys like just walking to like a stop to shop or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's just like the cashier is obviously going to be looking at
Yeah.
the security camera, you know.
Yeah.
He's not going to go about his day. Like he's obviously going to be watching and seeing if you're
Yeah.
going to steal anything. But I think that's normal, like especially nowadays, you know. Like teenagers just go into random stores with a couple backpacks, and you know,
Yeah.
like, you always end
it's
up someone's.
stereotypes. It's
Exactly,
stereotypes.
exactly.
And, you know, it's how you present yourself. But I kind of just wanted to see, like, you know, people say, you know, racism is alive today, and I'm just trying to, like, see if, you know, it's to that extent where people are going around and calling, like, you know,
Yeah.
you should be a slave.
In
And
my-
it's not, and I'm not talking about in a joking matter. I'm talking about if someone seriously, you know, like one of those howdy cowboys came
Yeah.
up to you.
In my
and, like,
opinion,
said
bro,
something like
everyone's
that.
racist.
No,
In my opinion,
there's
no,
also
no,
there's some sort of racism, but I'm just saying, have you actually felt it impact your life? Because you know, people are, you know what, you want to be racist, go ahead.
Yeah.
You do it on your own time, but if it affects someone else, that's where it's different.
Exactly.
So that's why I want to see. I want to dig deep and see if this is still an issue, and you know, how do we go about it?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's people with opinions about other races and stuff, and there's no way to change that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's stereotypes. There's no one you're not going to change the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Some of these stereotypes are true, some of them are false. And some of them go for a majority, some of them don't. But I'm trying to see, you know, if there's someone, like, that is actually still enacting that racism. And obviously there still are, but I just wanted to see if you've actually ever been through something like that, and, you know, how you felt going through that.
So what, honestly, where I felt that the most was somewhat of high school from like friends and stuff. Like, for example, if I didn't act a certain way, they'd be like, yeah, like you're white, whatever. But like, it wasn't that like, I don't get it. Like, if I act proper, they consider me white, but if they want me to act out, go, okay, like he's black. You know what I mean?
Scenes.
Yeah,
Which was
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't bother me. It didn't phase me. At some points it phased me, but then after I was like, no, because why? Well, what am I going to gain from, okay, now he's black. Like, now nobody really wants to approach him. Nobody really wants to talk to him. He's always acting out, always acting this, always whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it was an expectation kind of set by
Yeah.
people, right?
But then after, I swear, after high school, it's like you don't really notice it as much. And I hang out with everybody. You know what I mean? I'm super everyone. But after high school, honestly, you don't notice it as much. It's like, it depends on the type of person you are. Like, I'm kind of open to talk to people. I'll be good. But those days where I don't really want to talk to people, I kind of experience.
But then again, you're hanging out with people your age, you know, your intellect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna hang out with a like 50-year-old cowboys, you know what I mean? It's probably gonna change, you know. They're probably
Actually, my girl, her roommates are like, they're from like out of town, like out in the country.
Yeah.
I could kind of consider them cowboys, but dude, when I met them, all of them, they're all like my age, roughly my age, around there. There was like about 20 of them. When I met them all, like, they're all good. Like, I never heard them say anything. They never made me feel disincluded. Like, they were like, you know what I mean?
Just going
So
back
then-
to that statement, by the way, that in itself is a stereotype, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know, the
cowboys
cowboys
being
are like the
racist.
racist
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Like, they're obviously like, there's gonna be ones that
Yeah.
are racist, but not all of them
Yeah,
are racist. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, okay, going off of that then, what would be then your answer to this statement? Would you say that racism is mostly alive and enacted on today, or not?
Honestly, in my opinion, it's from what
you've seen.
from what I've seen, I don't see as often.
Mm-hmm.
Either I don't pay any mind to it. There's like small incidents. Like, another one I just popped in my head was the bank. I remember one time I had like this tax-free savings account, right?
Mhm.
That was been collecting money, and they don't want you to keep pulling money out, right?
Yeah.
I remember one time